Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Bears Profit Plays YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, October 9th. We got some more college football to talk about. Stream is not working again tonight. The super lag on my channel on the StreamYard. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but it's either Wi-Fi or it's my Wi-Fi or StreamYard's not working. But either way, show must go on. Here is a recap from Tuesday night. FIU and Liberty are currently playing. It is 10-17 right now. Both these teams keep shooting themselves in their foots. Liberty just fumbled on the 1 yard line with Cooley. FIU went all the way down the field, turned it over on 4th and 4. So 17-10 now starting the fourth quarter. We do have plus 17.5. Feels like it's okay. Feel like I can call it a cash. Quentin Cooley did go way over the 100 yards. I think he's currently sitting at 130 plus yards in the game. And then Eric Rivers, we need 45 more yards, I think. I think he's sitting at 15. And they are about to go down 2 touchdowns with 10 minutes left in the game. So hopefully they're going to be throwing the ball to him. He did have one bounce off his hands for an interception, so I'm not sure if Johnson trusts him anymore. But we will see. Here's an updated look at the leaderboard. Looking like a 1-0 day on the game picks. Definitely 1-0 on the player props. Hopefully go 2-1 on the player props with Eric on these last couple drives. Let's take a look at the game for Wednesday afternoon. We are going to be taking a look at Jacksonville State going up against New Mexico State. This is a Conference USA battle. And New Mexico State, the Aggies, are coming into this season shredded and picked apart from last year after losing one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Diego Pavia last season was on New Mexico State. He was a force to be reckoned with this team last year, and he just took down Alabama with his new team, Vanderbilt. It's going to be an extremely hard season for New Mexico State, and they've already started off this season tough. They did lose Tim Beck. They lost Nate Dreiling as well. They lost the entire coaching staff, and they lost their quarterback. So this season has started off really bad in the first 5 games, but Jacksonville State, not much better, only winning 2 of their first 5 games, but they have not lost the game in conference play. New Mexico State is coming off their 4th straight loss of the season. They lost to the rival New Mexico. That's one of the games that they definitely wanted to win. They lost that one 50-40, and to make matters worse for them, Jacksonville State's coming off their best win of the season against Kennesaw State, putting up 63 points, allowing 24 points. The spread's nearly 3 touchdowns, and I'm going to take Jacksonville State here to cover the number. Minus 20.5 is the play. This offense for Jacksonville State, they're explosive. They're scoring 36.4 points per game. They're averaging 430-plus yards per game. That has them in the top 50 in both of those categories. It's really been the work of their quarterback, Tyler Huff. He's got over 1,000 passing yards, over 400 rushing yards on the ground this season. And I'm not entirely sure if Logan Smothers was the starting quarterback to start the year, but he's dealing with an injury, and it looks like he might be able to play in this game. But I don't know if they're going to go back to Smothers. I think they might just stick it out with Huff. He's been really good for them. He does have some help on the outside with his wide receivers, 2 really good wide receivers. He's got a steady running game. So I think Jacksonville State's going to have no problem putting up points against New Mexico State. That New Mexico State defense is allowing 35 points per game, 460-plus yards per game. That is bottom 120 in both of those categories this season in the NCAA. They're coming into this game with one of the worst rushing defenses in the country as well. In the offense, they haven't been clicking very much either besides against their rival against New Mexico. They're only scoring 19.6 points per game and only 260 yards per game as a team. That means this New Mexico State team, they're coming bottom 120 in offense and bottom 120 in defense. That makes them one of the worst teams in the country this year. I'm not saying that Jacksonville State's much better than them, but they're definitely better offensively. The big difference in this game will be that offense. I think Jacksonville State puts up a ton of points. I'm not sure if New Mexico State can keep up. I'm going to take them to win this game. Minus 20.5, 42-16 as the final score there. Let's go over some player props for this game. None of the player props are out yet, which is what the case was yesterday, but Cooley did all right. Hopefully Eric can do all right for us in the fourth quarter here. But same thing with not having props, kind of sucks, but it's okay. We're going to power through it again. First play for the player props. We're going to look at a very talented running back. He's made a lot of mistakes in his college football career. It's going to be Seth McGowan of New Mexico State. I'm going to take him to go over his total rushing yards. This was a 4-star recruit back in 2020. He's got all the talent in the world. He just made some bad mistakes whenever he was younger and whenever he was at Oklahoma. This guy was so good, he went to Oklahoma on scholarship. He played there in 2020, had 58 carries, nearly 400 yards, starting off the season hot, and then he was charged with robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and assault charges with a dangerous weapon on May 7, 2021. He was supposed to go to a disciplinary program for people of younger age, but the judge declined that. They put him in a year of drug-related programming. He had to pay some fines, and he did his time. And now nearly 2 full seasons out of all of that, The four-star recruit who played at Oklahoma out of Dallas played for Butler Community College in El Dorado, Kansas last season. So this is his first chance back at the FBS level. The only team that would give him a chance is this New Mexico State Aggies team, who is one of the worst teams in the country. But despite all of his past mistakes, he's found a way back into the FBS. I'm sure that was a tough road for him. And to give him some credit, he's looked pretty good so far this season for New Mexico State. 58 carries, just like his numbers at Oklahoma early in the season. He's got 334 yards with the new team so far. Jacksonville State, their defense is not very good, and they're giving up nearly 200 rushing yards per game. So it's going to be a chance here for Seth to dominate on the ground. This could be his best game of the season. I'm going to take him over his total rushing yards, whatever it comes out at as the play there. And for the second play tonight, we're going to look at another running back, Trey Stewart of Jacksonville State, to go over his total rushing yards. The leading rusher for this team is the quarterback. He's got over 400 rushing yards on the ground this season, but Stewart's right behind him, almost notching 400 yards himself. Jacksonville State does like to run the ball a lot, and that's going to be a great thing for them because New Mexico State, they're giving up one of the most rushing yards per game in the country, 277.3 yards per game. That is extremely hard to do. Stewart's coming off a really good game himself, 24 carries, 134 yards, 4 total touchdowns. And I don't expect him to slow down in this game going up against one of the worst defenses in the country. Jacksonville State early in the season didn't get him the ball a lot because they were taking some big losses, found themselves down by a lot of points. But I expect him to be big in this game, mainly because of Stewart. But if he doesn't have his rushing yards by halftime, I expect him to ground and pound, as they should be up at least by a couple touchdowns by the third quarter. He has had back-to-back-to-back games going for 16-plus carries, and he's had back-to-back-to-back games going for 90-plus or 95-plus rushing yards. I like him in this spot over his total rushing yards, whatever it comes out at, as the play there as well. Let's take a look at the recap graphic. We're going to be taking Jacksonville State minus 20.5 going up against Mexico State. Mexico State, they've looked really bad this season. Seth McGowan over rushing yards going up against Jacksonville State. And then Trey Stewart over his rushing yards going up against New Mexico State. I think Seth's going to be around, it's hard to judge because he's so good. Both these teams, not great rushing defense. I'd say somewhere in the 60s for Seth. For Trey, probably going to be somewhere in the 80s. But if either of these guys are sniffing above 100, let's cap it at 109.5, just like we did with Cooley on Stewart. We'll cap it with 79.5 with McGowan on these rushing props. But I don't think either of them are going to be that high. I'm assuming Seth's going to be in the 50s or 60s. Trey probably somewhere in the 70s or 80s. But those are the plays for Wednesday. Guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Wednesday, October 9th slated games. If you guys enjoy the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.